What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of The Trend. I'm your host, Dario Kristen, and joining me is the beautiful Courtney Stewart.
Hey, everybody.
I'm feeling the look, Courtney. You got your braids down today.
Got the braids down, trying to, actually, I just broke my elastic right before we were about to go on, and I'm holding my dog. So I'm trying to keep in control. This is working from home, the Zoom in from home. It's a challenge not to be in the studio, but we're going to make it work.
We're going to make it work because we got a special guest today. We got some R&B royalty.
Woo, woo.
Royalty in the house. We got RL. Y'all know that voice. The vocalist himself. Coming from us live in ATL.
That's right. That's right.
Man, we're happy to have you today.
Man, I'm honored that y'all have me on here, man. And like when all this is over, we'll link up and do it all together, in the studio and have some fun. So I'm just happy, man, to 23 years in to be here right now for y'all to allow me to be on your platform talking to me. To little old me, I'm geeked right now.
So
I'm
modest.
feeling your energy, right?
So
right.
Modest.
and you making me, I was gonna shave my beard today, but now after looking at yours, I'm like, let me keep it and line it up a little bit more. Maybe I'll stick with it for a little bit longer.
I decided I usually grow it every no shave November. I grew my hair out last time, and I was like, it takes too much. Like I would be laying it down in my hotel room, and I know I gotta interview. I'm trying to sleep like this or rest like this for a minute because I had the sponge joint, but it'd be matted and all that. I was like, nah. So I finally went back to the beard, and I realized, a lot of people don't connect. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just embrace it.
You got the purple connection. Yeah, I'm jealous because mine, I got like a 13-year-old's beard because I won't connect. I got to outline mine at the bottom. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get to your status. I'm faking it till I make it with my beard.
Oh
I'm not even mad at you. I'm just, I used to try to fight the mature look because, you want to hold on a little bit. But truthfully, I'm really embracing this next chapter, being an OG. You know what I mean? I woke up one day and they're like, hey, OG, younger cats. I'm like, wait a minute, me? Oh, and I have to realize, you know what I am? And I have to hold that badge with pride. So I guess I'm a little bit of an OG now.
Hey, I feel you. I feel you.
Support. We love it. We support it. And I am a fan of all the beards. So all y'all trying to shave it off, enjoy. Keep it coming. We like it.
Keep the beards. All right. All right. Good to know.
We into it.
Now, RL, man, you are a busy dude. I mean, you got new records. You doing all kind of stuff that's going on. Now, tell us about this new project you're working on, RTV.
Well, RTV's coming after this project that we just did, which is the letter J. RTV will be more of a full length, I'm thinking, because we've literally been recording, me and my partner B Flat, hundreds of records. It'll be 80s feel, being from the north side of Minneapolis, Jimmy and Terry with that funk, but with a little pop texture to it, with some vocals and harmonies and arrangements. I'm excited about it. Right now with the letter J, I gave it away for free because I almost looked at it like me sending flowers, trying to impress, because, coming from my era, a lot of times they want to say, just be an old school group, do the throwback concerts. That's all you need to do. But if you're a true artist, and which I consider myself to be, where I write, arrange, produce, and things like that, I want to continue to evolve and put out new music. But truthfully, there's not a lot of avenues for artists like myself. There's a lot of great acts like 112, Jagged. I know Donnell's working on a project, Case. People put out this great music, but we don't really have a way to get it to our audience. So a lot of times you get discouraged and you end up like Ginuwine, where he's like, man, I'll just tour. And he's a great artist and he has a lot to offer, but you get to the point where you're really discouraged because you're like, I can't compete with what's on the radio now. But then you have the old school stations, and the only new music they play besides Tank, who I think is amazing, is old sounding new music.
Yeah.
Which isn't bad, but it has to have a classic feel. But what happens when you still feel like you got a little flex left in you? You want to, you know what I'm saying? Like, not necessarily trying to sound young, but you ain't in the casket yet. So just trying to figure out how to move around in this new media-driven world. So I wanted to give away something. It's almost like a demo for me. Like I had to really humble myself and say, let me show you. Let me, like I was when I was back at my mama's house looking out the window, like if just one person hears this, if the right person hears this, it's on and cracking. I feel like it's a new season for me. So that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah, the music industry has definitely changed completely.
So different. And in today's sort of atmosphere and all that's going on, how creatively has your process changed in this new age? And what are you finding inspiration in now to even make music?
Well, truthfully, for me, I never stopped. I've always been, behind the scenes, whether it was Usher, Luther, Jamie Foxx, of course, the Jaheim records. Me and my partner did Lil Duval's record with Ty Dolla $ign, Pull Up. So being behind the scenes, even mindless behavior, just trying to be silent, letting the artist take all the credit, but still doing what we do. Um, for me, I learned at an early age, and credit to Lance and Prop T from Low Key and KG from Naughty by Nature for letting me sit in the studio behind their shoulder and learn. So I engineer, record myself. I always knew to invest in myself. Like, okay, I can go buy this watch, I can go buy this car, buy this chain. Nope, I'm gonna buy studio equipment and teach
Right.
myself, because I don't want to have to be dependent on anybody in any studio. Because now when COVID came, stuff is locked up, you can't get nowhere,
Yeah.
people don't feel safe without a mask. So luckily for me, I've always tried to be self-sufficient and have something at the crib. Only thing that changed more so than anything was you can be more focused. Being around my little girl, there was a time that I was discouraged, but having a 3-year-old, I'm always reiterating to her, you can do anything. But I wasn't being an example of that. I'm like, I just write for other artists, but I still wanted to do music for myself. So how am I preaching to her? You can do anything, but I'm over here licking my wounds, looking at the everything around me and how the game is, and feeling sorry for myself. She made me, unknowing, to her, she made me go, you know what? You better get your butt up and go handle your business, because I have to represent her and all the other artists out there that are trying to, I guess, quote unquote, make a comeback. So for me, it just made me focus even more.
Mhm.
And then how do you think that with everything going on with COVID, that it's going to really change the music industry? For example, like we can't go to concerts anymore. There's all these virtual concerts. Do you think that's going to be the existence of where we're at for a while now? Or will it ever, I'm sure it'll go back to concerts, but do you think that transition is going to be a while before we really get back to where we used to be?
Well, I mean, it depends on if we do what we're supposed to do November 3rd. Because if you have the
Straight
right
up.
person running this country, then I think that a lot of these things that have happened wouldn't have happened anyway. Like, you told me stay in the house for 2 weeks and relax, and then you can do whatever you want to do back normally, I'd have did that. It ain't like, wouldn't have been no issue. Um, I think there's advantages and disadvantages to the concerts, because you can go to a concert and you be so busy singing along that you ain't even really listening to the performance like that. You ain't listening really to the vocals per se. Like, did he hit that? What was he? You having fun because it's nostalgic. You singing along. But if you can rewind it and they ain't doing really what they supposed to be doing, because them at-home concerts ain't no full band like that. It ain't the ambiance, and ain't the dancers and the smoke machine and all that. So if you can really sing your butt off, then you good. But if not, what are we gonna do? Secondly, I do feel sorry for a lot of the artists that a lot of the singers, because we say artists. An artist is a writer, producer, or something, so he's having other residuals coming in. So concerts money is just, that's the icing on the cake. You know what I mean? But what about the people that are just performers, where that's where they make their money? I really do feel sorry for them, especially a lot of the newer artists that maybe didn't write or produce their own music. So now you like, man, what am I gonna do? Like, do I sell this chain I bought that I shouldn't have bought?
Hmm.
Do I return this lease of this car that everybody thought was really? And I feel bad for them, because in our communities, for me, I always felt like we were always told to don't spend money. We
Yeah.
weren't told how to save money and how to let that money accumulate even more money. So a lot of us, including myself, were somewhat financially irresponsible. So that's my biggest fear. We have to empower one another and figure out ways to invest and do things so that we ain't gotta go, oh man, we need some more concerts. Man, COVID gotta hurry up. So that's the thing. I do feel really bad, because there's a lot of talented artists out there that probably didn't have that reinforcement or had that money in the back, so they can just continue to live right. So I'm praying for them and their families.
100%.
And then as an artist yourself, you have obviously been in a group. You were in one of the hottest groups that were out there, to transitioning to a individual artist, a solo artist. How have you grown just fundamentally within yourself and seeing your progression in music since leaving the group?
Well, it's funny, because if you noticed in urban groups, if the guy goes and does something outside of the group, he's left the group. But if you look at a pop group, a country group, he went and did a side project. That's how
Right.
it becomes. Next will always be, you know what I'm saying? I never wanted to do a solo project, to be honest. I just love music. And when you create so much, you can't give every record away, or you say, oh, man, well, who else can do this record like I feel like I do it? Who can present this project like I can? And you be like, well, no offense to anybody else, but the way I want it, only I can do it. And you start realizing that, why can't you do it all? I was going to do WQRL, which is Wingo from Jagged Edge, Q Parker from 112, and myself. We have a whole album that's never coming out. A new next album that's never coming out. We have a Next by Nature EP that is coming out. I just want to do everything possible so when I get to heaven, God can look at me from the side and be like, all that blessings I gave you, I see what you did. Because a lot of times you leave so much on the table when you're supposed to do it all. Why wouldn't you? You know what I'm saying? I know people that got a hair salon and they selling clothes and tummy tea. So for me, I just want to do it all. As far as transitioning, the hardest part was really being without my brothers, because they groomed me in a lot of ways. I have to give them credit. I used to hate when people would go like lead singer or lead vocalist, because I never looked at it that way. I looked at it like we a team. If I need to shoot tonight, I'm going to shoot. If you need to shoot, you shoot. I'll rebound. I'll box out. And I think a lot of times, especially in urban music, we kind of put this narrative out there, oh, he left the group, or did he get the big head? Did this happen? No, I just want to do music. I just want to sing, mama.
All right, can you talk to us a little bit about this Next by Naughty by Nature project that is coming?
Yeah, of course. Well, yeah, I wasn't planning on doing any new music with the guys, because we had done a whole project, and one of the members was like, I love the music, but I'm somewhere else right now. He's doing this hip hop thing. And I was like, you know what? I'm glad you're telling me now, because there's no way it can be blessed and be as successful as we want if we're not on the same page. So if you need me to work on something with you, that's cool. We just do different things that all that does is add to the group. But then I got a call from KG from Naughty by Nature, who is one of my mentors. He's the one that signed us before, and brought us to Clive Davis. And he's one of the main people responsible for me even being here talking to y'all right now. Once Big Bro calls and he says, look, I want to do this project, it's more like, yes, sir. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it is. So we're doing we've done 3 or 4 records so far. We're going to do probably 1 or 2 more. It's funny because I was in the studio and I was playing a record on my Instagram, and he hit me like, yo, we need that record too. And it was one of mine, but I was like, yes, sir. Sent the files right over. Tretch and Vin, and today's Vin's birthday, so happy birthday, Vin.
Happy
birthday.
And Case was yesterday, so it's like it's crazy. But yeah, I'm excited about it. We're known for R&B anthems. They're known for hip hop anthems. So we're coming together, just trying to make some fun barbecue, skating rink music, because at times like this, you need that. You need to have some music on to make you forget about, the state that the nation is in. So yeah.
Well, maybe you two can have a Verzuz. I see that coming in the future, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Next to Naughty Verzuz.
It's funny because I enjoy watching them, but I've told people I'm scared of Black Twitter. I love my people, but I don't want to make a face and it become a meme and I can't get rid of it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like honestly,
it's true.
The name for me, if it's a celebration of music and we just playing records and we going back and forth, because see, I'm a cheat. I'm gonna pull up all the records I wrote for other artists, features. I'm pulling up Tupac, Deborah Cox. I'm doing it all. But the only way I would do it is 2 ways: if we playing new music, or if we doing it live. Because let's see if you can do it like the record. Because
that's a real challenge.
I damn sure going, and that's the fun part for me. And that's not saying other artists can't, but that's where I'm at with it. Like let's blow, because you might be singing your record and it might not be hitting that note. I might join you and be like, you mean this? Ooh, you know what I mean? So we had some fun. So that's what I would do, because I love performance. So that would be fun.
Well, music. Oh, sorry, Corey, go ahead.
I was just saying, I'm definitely here for the live battle.
And
some vocalists. That'd be amazing. But what male vocalist would you want to go with? I don't like saying up against, because we just
right. Who would I want to celebrate with? It's hard to say, because I think everybody's so talented, and I just love everybody. It's funny because one of my idols, the other day, was it day for yesterday, I had a revelation, and I literally cried because he was being interviewed and I jumped into his live. And I said that, he was one of the reasons I make music, because being from Minneapolis, we had Prince and we had Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis.
Yeah.
And Jimmy and I love Prince because my mother and my uncle grew up with him, like really grew up with him. But he was rock, he was alternative. And I'm from the hood. So when I seen Jimmy and Terry with the suits and the hats and they with Janet, they they on stage dancing with the keyboards, I'm like, that's the swag I want. So, when we first were coming up, we were really discovered first by Lance and Prof T from the group Low Key. I got a thing for you, baby. So they would sneak us out to Flight Time Studios, which is Jimmy and Terry's studio. And finally, Jimmy and Terry were out there and we sang for them. And we just knew they was gonna sign us. That was my dream. My cousin was like the secretary of the office at Flight Time. So I was like, oh, it's a family affair. Cuz about to be in here. And they signed a group called Solo instead of us. That's what I was under the impression of. So they didn't choose us. So literally for the last 20-something years, 25 years, because it was before we were even signed, I've had a chip on my shoulder because I felt like they thought I wasn't good enough. Literally 2 days ago, I jumped into his live because I sampled a Janet record that they produced on my EP. And he heard it on PJ Butters live and he DM'd me. Like, man, I'm proud of you. Glad to hear your voice back out there. And it was the first time he really given me an accolade since we had done The Best Man with Tyrese, Ginuwine and Case. But that was while we're in the studio. And that's what producers do when they're trying to get the best performance out of you. So to make a long story short, he broke out of his interview for like 5 minutes and talked about how talented I was and brought up the sessions that we had with Tyrese, Ginuwine and Case for The Best Man. Now, the funny thing is, I was super nervous because I was the only guy in the group. These guys was way up here. I'm just the guy from Next. And I go in there and I'm like, I'm not going to try to do too much. But I did try to do too much only because I was trying to show these guys that they should have signed me when they could have. So all that is for my brothers in the hood and the high rises. And at the end, brother, all that stuff, brother, Tyrese, and all that I was making up because I was going extra hard to impress them to go, see, he should have signed me, right? So all of a sudden he talks about how I was coaching Ginuwine in the studio and really like cheerleading them on and how I was helping Tyrese with arrangements. And I didn't even know he was paying attention. But he went on to also say that he did us a huge favor. And I'm like, what did he do? He goes, we were in a messed up label situation and I really wanted to sign the guys, but I didn't want to get them involved with that. All these years, I'm thinking, dude didn't think I was good enough. I literally started crying. My daughter's like, what's the matter, Daddy? It was like that recognition from like, if I played ball, like Kobe or Jordan coming up, like, you got it. It was that feeling. And I literally was numb. And I've been on a high, besides when my daughter hurt my feelings earlier today. Been on a high. I've literally been on a high, like, you know what? That's amazing. Because there's only been one other time in my career where I've gotten accolades from somebody I look up to that made me feel like I was good enough. Because I grew up with low self-esteem. I tried to commit suicide my senior year of high school. So I never was that guy like, yeah, I'm that dude, or I want to go solo and I want to do this. I always needed that structure of brotherhood and that uplifting atmosphere. So I don't think a lot of men understand man to man, when you tell another man his worth or uplift him, it's really important. Women, they do that because that's their nature. When another man can look at you and be like, bro, you're amazing, or you're dope. It was Jimmy and it was Wanye. Those are the two people, and they're two people I look up to. So they've had a major impact on my life.
Yeah, you mentioned that you had some moments growing up, or more darker moments. Did music help you kind of get out of that and let you become the man that you are today?
Well, music kept me from doing anything. I remember kids used to try to jump me because back when I was growing up, singing wasn't cool. You had to be a rapper or athlete or a dope boy. Like, there wasn't a studio everywhere and everybody was, singing or whatever. It wasn't like that. And honestly, people would try to jump me and I would hide my face. People thought I couldn't fight. And it was like, nah, I just don't want to get my face messed up for my album cover. God literally gave me visions. I had dreams, and there were times I'd be on stage years later and pause in the middle of a song because I had been there before in my dream. Like, it was like, I'm not even trying to be on no, Miss Cleo, call 1-800, calling me now, none of that. Real talk, my faith is strong, and truthfully, there's been moments. So it was God, it was music, and I had a rough childhood, family-wise and all that. But I just knew I knew that was my purpose. And also having a son in high school, because I have a 24-year-old and a 3-year-old. So he's the reason I made it, and my daughter's the reason that I keep going. So it was those things, you know what I mean? But I knew, I don't know how, but I knew something was going to happen. Something was going to shake.
Well, we had, you mentioned Tyrese, and we had Tyrese on the show a couple of weeks ago, and he was promoting his new music video and record that was involving around the deaths of Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, and unfortunately the list goes on and on of people who were killed. And one thing that he talked about was his inspiration of how, you know, George Floyd really inspired him to create this record and create this song and create this music video. For you, being from Minnesota, what is it like now to go back there after what happened with the protesting and with George Floyd and everything going on? What's the temperature like now?
Well, you know, I was scared at first, and you know, people wondered why I didn't go back, why they tearing everything down. And 25-year-old me, yeah, but you know, 43-year-old me with you know, 3-year-old, it's kind of hard. Like my decision was, I'll come help you rebuild. I understood the anger and pain, and I think that a lot of times we focus on. It's almost like you get into an argument with your partner, and they do something wrong, but it becomes about how you reacted and not what they did. So it's like, you didn't have to say it like that. No, is it? Why did I even say anything? Why did we riot? Why did we do any of this? Like, is it about the reaction or what caused the reaction? I went back and I met with the police chief because I felt like there were some things that needed to be changed as far as on the policing level. And he agreed. He's a Black man from the south side of Minneapolis. It was a great meeting. He said he wanted to, you know, implement some of those changes. The lawyers, 2 of the lawyers for the family, one of them is my homeboys from the A. You know what I'm saying? That represents the daughter and the girlfriend or, you know, I know the mother of the daughter. So I was really, you know, entrenched in it, but not in the way of trying to be, I don't want to be taking pictures and look at me, I'm protesting. I couldn't do that. So I was on the phone back and forth with Steven Jackson, that's my guy. And we were, you know, going back and forth trying to figure out different things. My biggest thing was policing. A lot of these police do treat us like animals because you're sent to this precinct, into a neighborhood and community that you don't have any empathy or sympathy for. And you have to police these people that you don't know. You don't know their background. You don't know what they've been through. So you're just like, they're animals. You do feel like that. You treat them like that. And my question to the police chief was, show me a kid that's not from a law enforcement family that wants to be a police officer when they grow up. You're not going to show me one. Yeah. So we have to show them like it was when I was younger. You know, I would see cops and I would pull my pants up like, okay, cool. Or you might have been a coach. Or I remember, I'll tell you a story. I pulled a gun out on this, well, it was a fake gun on this kid. I was a heathen. I pulled a fake gun on this kid walking down the street. And I was standing in front of my brother's, now his wife's mother's house. And I was probably about 14. And I stayed out there. Kid was gone. All of a sudden, here come the police pulling up. So I run in the house and throw the little strap under the radiator. That lets you know how long ago it was. I said radiator, all right? And
I wasn't going to say nothing, all right?
Right. The cop comes in and my brother's wife's mom, they were boyfriend, girlfriend. We were young, but she snitched on me and told him where the strap was. So he grabbed it, puts me in a police car. And truthfully, once you're in the system, things change. So if he had put me in jail, I wouldn't be here right now. Even as a kid, things change once you go in the system. Well, he asked me my name. I told him my name. He said, "You Bobby's son? I bowled with your dad." So he was like, "I'm going to take you home." Because he knew I was going to get an ass whooping. He knew that was a lot worse. I was like, you know what? Take me to jail. Take me to jail. Because I didn't want to see my dad. My dad got these big old hands, right? And he would hold my wrists like this and pat, 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 and I couldn't even move. So I was scared of my daddy. And it taught me something, though. He cared more about my future than putting me in the system. He wanted me to get in some trouble, but he didn't want to ruin my life. And it made me look at police officers with respect, like, yeah, you want law and order, but you also want me to be all right. I told the the police chief, I said, criminals and cops have the same, they want the same thing at the end of the day. He's like, what do you mean? I said, they just want to get home to their family, regardless. That's all you want at the end of the day. That's why some of y'all overreact and shoot and do this. And he basically told me, you know, that's true, but a lot of it has to do with these police unions protecting cops. It's not the chiefs. I talked to different police chiefs. I fired cops for excessive force, and they've gotten back on the force because there was an arbitrator and they had a representative from the union and fought it. So we just had, you know, I know this is long-winded, but those are the things that really have to happen in the community. Yeah, we can do better, but we need to see cops in a different light. So they have to figure that out. It's a public, it's their image in the community. That has to change. Secondly, and I'll leave it at this, I also said there needs to be programs where if these cops come from other communities and they have to police my community, pay them a weekend a month where they got to come work at a community center, off duty, but on duty, where they get paid, plain clothes, so they can meet different kids, so they can empathize with, you know, their situation, what they've been through, and really understand the community better. Because that way they might run up on dude drunk and he talking loud and you beating the cop, be like, oh, I'm just gonna take him home. Teresa's gonna hurt him far worse than putting him in jail would. His bark is worse than his bite. He ain't gonna do nothing. Get in the car, I'm gonna take you home so you can sleep it off, Jimmy. Those are the kind of things that happen. At this point, we're all about who can we put in jail and who can we give a ticket to, who can we give a fine to when we know they can't afford to pay it, so now they're even worse in the system. So those are the things that, you know, we talked about, and hopefully we can get them fixed.
So after that conversation, I mean, hopefully it all seems almost commonsensical, like in terms of how we can, you know, bridge this gap that's missing or whatever. What do you think the disconnect is that not just, I mean, obviously there's some police and whatnot that sort of agree that there needs to be something different, but if you're paying attention to any kind of news reports right now, like the concept of defunding the police or restructuring police is politicized, and most people have a very negative sort of impression of what that is. What do you think the disconnect is that commonsensical reform doesn't seem like it's a possibility, even whether you're a citizen or whether you're on the law enforcement side? Because even the law enforcement side, like you said with the unions, is they gear up and they want to protect themselves. Like and what's the disconnect, and how do you think it's possible, if it's even possible, to bridge that disconnect?
Well, to be honest, a few things. I had to really study what defunding means, because it doesn't sound like what it is. Okay, cops get all this money for all this tactical gear, all these things that really should be for like the guard and for armies and stuff like that. So all this money that they really don't need, that can go to other places in the community that can really stop crime. So instead of going to buy this bulldozer and this tank and these arsenals of weapons, put that into education in the schools, so the schools are better, so these kids have something to fall back on, so they don't have to have a life of crime. You know what I'm saying? Put it into different programs for ex-felons so that they don't have to be like, man, I need to make some money. I need to feed my family. The system is stacked against us. We have to change the system. Also, I feel like there has to be a way, because I've talked to a lot of cops that are Black and brown, and they want to say something. But if you've ever played sports, you know to leave things in a locker room. And if you take them out of the locker room, you're ostracized on the team. That's not what you want. You look at the police officer, I think it was in upstate New York or somewhere, where she stopped a cop from excessive force and she got fired. So you look at these things and you're like, what is more important, my family or yours? And let's be 100. I want to feed my family. My kid might have tuition, private school, something. And those are the thoughts that go through your mind, and they have to. So you might want to say something, but you can't. So there has to be a hotline or a way to say something without your name being out there, because nobody wants to be labeled as a snitch. So there's a lot of different things that they can do, but it starts with the image. It starts with having more police officers in the community that are from the community. Because I know there used to be like an unwritten rule that if you lived in this community, you couldn't police there. Like, why? You think I'm gonna let my homeboy slide because we grew up together? No, I'm gonna do my job, okay? Lovingly, but I'm gonna do my job. Maybe the cuffs won't be on as tight, but if my duty is to protect and serve, this is what I'm gonna do. So they should let some of these who's gonna care more about their community than people that's living in the community. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
So those are the changes that I feel are most important. Lastly, when I talk about generational, there are cops that are just old and stuck in their ways. and you got to let them retire off. But what happens when they retire off and there's new ones? There's that kid that got bullied by the black kids in school, and he's like, I got a badge now, buddy. That's what happens.
That's true.
But
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So you have to have some people from the community that see being a police officer is honorable, and that it is a point of pride in protecting your community, almost like a soldier. There's a soldier, police officer. You know what I'm saying? It used to be right up under. They need to bring that back so they have an image issue. I think that needs to be fixed.
Were you surprised that the settlement for Breonna Taylor's family happened so quickly?
Yeah, and I can't believe it was so low. And I want convictions. Like, of course, you want some paper. I don't think she had. Well, I know she didn't have any children, but it's so much worse when you look at. They had the boyfriend in jail. They tried to get the ex to lie on her. You know, I really looked up all these things to really. So I never want to say something I don't know nothing about. But you know what? When I realized why it was the way it was, when I watched the Republican National Convention and I seen the what is it, the Attorney General for Kentucky on there, or Louisville, wherever he's from, black guy on there. I would call him Tom, but he's not my uncle. We're not related. Y'all get that. But once I saw that, I'm like, I get it. But honestly, what it is even with Trump, I think he's somewhat racist, but he's more of a person that's like, if you don't have money, he looks down on you, or he can't benefit and do business with you. He's an elitist, I guess that's the way you would put it. Yes, and it just happens to be that a lot of us don't have wealth and can't help him. So truthfully, he plays to the donors and people that he can take advantage of and make money from.
Yeah.
That's simple. And that's why we have to build generational wealth. And that's why we have to really vote. You know what I mean? Because this is important. I'm not just voting for Biden and Mrs. Harris because, you know, she's black and because it's Democrat. I'm voting because I've read up and I've educated myself and I want change. But there's so many people at home talking about, man, yeah, this Trump and we need change, but is you gonna vote? Did you vote last time? What is it?
Right.
So these are the things that we need to really worry about. I think you need to be in tune, but sometimes it's depressing when you look at politics and you realize how much people don't really care about you. I'm glad that Trump was president for that quick second, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because it showed me the true colors of other people. Senator Graham, all these other Cruz, all these people that's really, you know, allowing him to lie, not even standing up. Eventually, they're going to be voted out because people see other people's true colors. Yeah. There are Republicans turning on Republicans now. They got the Lincoln Project and all these things. So truthfully, this needed to happen for us because we got relaxed. We was thinking it's kumbaya, you know, it's better. No, it was just hidden until they pulled out the tiki torches in khakis. Now we can see who our enemies are. So let's go.
I know that's real. That's straight up. Right.
Not the khakis.
Not the khakis are right. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have that same philosophy. They feel like this needed to happen. This shakeup needed to happen for us just as a country, for us to see people's true colors. And we definitely we are definitely seeing some true colors, all kinds of colors.
And you're seeing athletes and different people doing just like Muhammad Ali and Jim Brown, all these people did, and they're coming. And then you see other people like shut up and play. You see which owners are really for. You look at Jerry Jones from the Cowboys. He really is against people kneeling and different things like that. And they're trying to take what kneeling really means and trying to switch it up like it's against the military and all that. When truthfully, Kaepernick went to I guess a retired Green Beret or some type of soldier and asked him what's respectful to do. So they'll change the narrative to fit whatever they want to fit to paint us in a negative light. We just have to stay on top of it and vote and stay educated on what's going on.
Yeah. Well, speaking of taking things and changing the light of how Black people are viewed, I appreciate your music video for You Are, because it's very, very uplifting for Black women, but for Black people as a whole. And I was watching, I was like, all right, RL, I see what you're doing. I had to send it to my mom. She was like, I like that, RL. I'm like, I bet you do, Mom.
Thank you. I wrote that for my daughter and my wife. But when my daughter was born, somebody went online and was like, you need to go to Maury, that's the milkman's baby, and said a bunch of hurtful things. Like, it was really crazy. I had never experienced it. I was like, kids are off limits. But I looked at her one day and I felt bad, but I looked at her sleeping one day in her crib and I was like, yo, what is you tripping about? You got a healthy little girl, little redhead, special fireball. I was like, you know what? Change your whole perspective. Switch up. And I came in my studio and literally, I don't really write anymore. It's in my head. I'll take a few notes here and there, but it just came out of me, and I was really happy with it, but I didn't know what I was going to do with it. But my daughter started walking around the house singing the record at like 2 years old. And I was like, wait a minute. She was like, you are. So that's why, I put her in the video. And you hear all these complaints, especially back in the day, all these certain kind of women in the video. Where's the sisters? Where's this? I'm going to tell you something that people don't realize. Artists like myself and most of us, we'd show up the day before the video or maybe 2 days to do wardrobe, and casting director would bring like a folder or like a booklet with all these Polaroids in it of all these women that they manage or have from their agency. And 9 times out of 10, especially if you were in LA, all those women pretty much look the same. So all you get to do is choose from what you see. Sometimes you get to the video shoot and the director or the casting agent has already decided who your significant other is. Because there's been times that I came and I seen a girl and I was like, nah. And they had to get one of her friends to be the girl. Like, to be honest, or the girl that was playing her friend in the video, they had to switch places. And a lot of times people complain about the kind of girls we had in our videos. We didn't have control over that. We were artists, and you would think that we would, but we didn't. We show up. We just had to shoot a video. We happy that if there's some wardrobe there, we got to keep it, or there was some glasses that the stylist brought that we got to keep. We still hood, so we just happy for free stuff, right? Which ain't really free because it's going on our budget. But for this video, I was able to, choose who was in the video and really say, I don't want any of the, and they're still beautiful, but not the video stereotypical type of women. I want real beauty, and I want to celebrate it. And that's what we did.
And we are so thankful.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
It was amazing.
Thank you.
Well, looking, 5-10 years down the line, where do you see RL, and what are you doing? And what are you doing in the music world?
I see myself walking down the red carpet at the Grammys and you guys there because you guys have this big old show and you guys interview me because it's all about evolution and growing, and you have to speak things as though they are. And I really feel like that because, being in this industry for 23 years, there's people that I've met in the mailroom that are executives now, like literally. And you never know who somebody is and what God has in store for them. I just want to continue to make music. I want to be known more than just the guy from the group or the guy that wrote the record about getting hard on the dance floor, things like that. I want to just continue to make great music, and I want to show that you can age like fine wine and continue to put out quality material that all ages can love. I want to break the mold because, again, in our industry, you look at somebody like Whitney, who was one of the greatest ever, but later in her career, they made jokes about, her issues. When if we maybe would have came from a loving angle, maybe we would have helped her, overcome them. We were literally making jokes. There were skits. Then we're at the funeral and we're crying. Oh my God, I'm gonna miss it. I said, oh, I want to dance. She in heaven now, chilling. She good. But truthfully, we should have given her flowers and celebrated her more then. And I think that's how it's going to be for a lot of the artists from my era and eras before. My cousin is Philip Bailey from Earth, Wind and Fire. So whenever I, get to see him or talk to him or anybody or talk to my mom about him, it's always, I want to celebrate people. I'm always trying to look at it from a grace standpoint. I used to be negative because the hood in me, you always want to be on guard. But truthfully, I'm at a season of, I just want to have grace. There's a lot of people that done me wrong. There's people in this industry I don't like. We got rival groups. But in every interview, I bring up, oh, this person has a new project out. Because my favorite saying, my motto for my life, and y'all can use this. I'm going to get this to y'all. I wish you well. I just wish me better. I just wish me better. There's nothing. I want you to have that 2021 Mercedes Benz. I just want the 2025 spaceship. There's nothing wrong with that. You can have a suite, but I want the corner suite with all the windows. Listen, we can both have the clawfoot tub. I'm good. I'm not a hater. I just want more than you, even if it's like a crumb more. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's human nature. But I do wish you well. I want to see you succeed. I want you to feed your family. I want you to be successful. Not as successful as me, but close. It's that simple.
I feel that. Is there any new artist out there right now that you would like to collaborate with or work with?
I'm more of a classic person. Like I want to collaborate. I've always wanted to collaborate with Shania Twain because I love country music, and of course Brandy. I love Brandy. I'm supposed to do a record with Coco because I sampled one of SWV's records from my upcoming album. So her. Um, I like working with hungry artists because I've been in the studio with artists that think they know everything or think, okay, this is the right way. I'm at a point in my career and in my life where I just want it to be cohesive and have fun because you can learn from one another. It's funny because Deborah just emailed me yesterday because she wanted me to come on something that she's doing. And we've only sang We Can't Be Friends one time in history together. Wow. One time. And she don't know, but I'm going to bring it up because I'm mad at her about that because I used to see her and Kenny Lattimore singing. I love Kenny, but I was hating. But yeah. I wanted to be Eddie King. How does it feel to be me? You know what I'm saying? But I just love artistry. I love cats that really take pride in what they do, that are humble enough to want to learn and grow so we can grow together. I love Lucky Day. I love Tiffany Gaucher, who's from the Bay Area. I love her, but I'm jealous because I was on her before everybody was, she was blew up. Now everybody caught on. I'm like, I feel like that was my girl. So now I still listen to her, but I listen to other stuff. There's a guy named Thomas, but he spells his name backwards. At first I thought he was strange, but he's super dope. He real country and he be blowing. I like him a lot. I listen to everybody. Like even my quote unquote rivals. I know 112 just came out with a new EP. I love that. Yeah. Jagger just dropped a 30-song album. I've listened to it, studied it because I'm like, okay, how can I take this little bit of this? And I listen to everything, man. Got to.
30 songs. Wow, that's a lot.
How did I not know that?
Yeah, I didn't even know about that.
But see, that's my point. And for me, I want to bring that up because your viewers, you have a great platform. I want to uplift everybody that I can because all it takes is one of us to succeed on the level that we should be, that other people go, well, whatever happened? Or let me look for this or let me see this. And I think that's important. I want to give them their flowers. Now, I want a bigger bouquet, but I want them to have a nice arrangement too.
100%.
Well, we got to get you out of here soon, but what with your new music, how would you describe what it's going to sound like? Is it going to be that old school RL that you were talking about? Or are you throwing in some new swag with it?
Well, with the new EP, it's called The Letter J because I sampled Janet, 2 Jodeci records, and John B. I was paying homage to people I really respect. And Jimmy and Terry produced the Janet record we sampled. And there's a fine line between sounding dated and sounding like you're trying to be young. And I'm just trying to be me. I don't know if it sounds like old RL, because I'm older, but I do want to sound, I feel like I'm rejuvenated. I feel like I'm better than ever. I just want to sound like evolved RL. And I think I'm going to still try to give some riffs and runs and arrangement, but the beats might be a little harder, but it's still some keys and all the elements. But I'm still continuing to grow. You know what I mean? So with music, I just want to have fun with it and do as much as I can to continue to keep the legacy going for my era of music.
Well, listen, I can't lie. My go-to karaoke duet song is Close.
Oh. So I appreciate that.
Stand back, you're standing kind of close.
You know what's funny is everybody else's is We Can't Be Friends. So I'll be somewhere and people will be singing or a girl will start, the music will come on and everybody looks at me like, am I gonna get up there and be like, we can't be friends? But I fight it. I'm like, no, because I feel like it's cheating when you sing your own song. So I do like either John Legend or there's this country group I love called Diamond Rio, and they got this song called One More Day. I'll sing one of those records. I think it's cheating to sing your own record. It's kind of cheesy, but maybe once or twice or 3 times I've done it. So.
Well, we love it.
We love it. We're here for it.
We're here for it.
Where can fans find you on social media to find out all about your projects, new music, everything that you're doing?
Well, my site is justrl.com and everything else is just RL. My Instagram, my Twitter. I'm trying to learn to post more. Usually it's my little girl or, concert footage or me in the studio. I have to remember to post because I'm so busy trying to create and continue to grow that can't say it's new to me because, social media is kind of cool. It's like pen pals when I was growing up, but it's instant, which is good and bad. But yeah, you can find me there. I used to just put like funny memes up and stuff like that, but my publicist got on me like, you have to post more. So I try to, you know, do some entertaining stuff.
Well, we will definitely be checking out everything that you are putting out. Like I said, I love
Thank
the
you.
video for You Are. Might go watch it again
Thank
right
you.
after this because it means even more after hearing you explain
I
how you got to
know.
why you created it. So that makes it even more special. Courtney,
Man, I
where can fans
appreciate you.
find you? Courtney, where can fans find you?
You can find me on social media, always at Stuart Starlet.
And you can find me at Dario Kristen on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok sometimes.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. And, you know, share BHL The Trend with your friends, subscribe to our new channel, and get all that going too. We appreciate all the love and the views and the comments. So
Yes.
please keep watching.
And thank you, sir, Mr. RL, for joining us. It was a pleasure.
Thank you guys so much for allowing me on y'all platform. What's the dog's name? I know.
Okay, I can find it. I literally am like, I got her like in a chokehold, like, girl, stop barking.
She wanted to make an appearance.
That's Gigi.
Right, yeah.
That's
Hey,
Gigi.
Oh, that's dope. Hey, Gigi. Like, now I don't want to look anymore. When I
Now she's trying to be.
Now she's shy. Now she's trying to be shy.
She's like, no pictures, please, no pictures. So yeah.
Well, RL,
thank
congratulations.
So
Congratulations,
so
man.
much.
We are definitely fans, and we will continue to support you in any way we can.
Always.
All right, I appreciate you guys. You guys take care, all right?
Thank you. You too.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye.